And GTA, you were playing?
Terrible. Don't support that shit. It is trash.
What's up, everyone? This is Press X to Start Podcast Season 5, Episode 30. I'm sorry, not 30, 43. Press X to Start Podcast is the podcast that is a audio and video podcast. We're seeking to transform the video game media landscape through an underserved and protected point of view. Restorative justice for the underrepresented programmers, developers, and consumers. I am your host, DJ, aka Sexy Bad Choice, aka Daddy Long Legs. Did you know is actually being retired because I am changing this now to do you know who Erica Luttrell is? Erica Luttrell is a Canadian voice actress who, yes, Avery, you nailed it. She did the voice for Bangalore of Apex Legends. She also voiced Sapphire for one of the crystal gems from Steven Universe. And she also voiced Keisha Franklin from Magic School Bus. So when I found this out, I flipped out all the way. Like, I literally jumped out of my seat. I was like, oh my God, that's so awesome. But yeah, that's my new thing that I'm doing now. Shouting out black talent. Who else is here? Jordan, you're here.
Your boy, Jordan, aka JXbox, back from the dead and nothing but wonderful Game Pass trinkets. Just pew, 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 pew. Talk about that in a second.
Bet.
I am also resurrected from the abyss. Like the theme of the episode here. I am Douglas Nivens, aka as I said before, the Court of Appeals of Maryland, sitting in the great city of Annapolis. I am Counsel Ipsa Dixit, exuberant, Barrister Baltimore.
All right. Last up,
I am Avery.
nailed it.
Hi, Avery.
Nailed it.
Yeah, I feel good about
that. Dr. Landing.
All right, with us being introduced, now we can tell you about the things we'll be talking about for this podcast. First up, we will be talking about Forza and it's potentially being a competitor for Game of the Year. We'll also be talking about GTA Trilogy, and it's launching with some issues, possibly. Not possibly, it is definitely launching a lot of issues. And then we'll be talking about Fortnite pulling Travis Scott's emote for a pretty good reason. With that being said, we can jump into what we have been playing. Jordan, you're up first. What we've been playing? What you been playing?
I have been addicted to Forza Horizon 5. Everything, like, there's a fucking desk full of games. Got my hand and just wiped that shit off and put Forza Horizon 5 right in the fucking middle. Because this game, I play a lot of racers. You know, if you follow this podcast, I most talk about the various racing games I play. You know, both hardcore simulation like Formula 1 2020, one of the better sim racers out there. Arcadey racers like Need for Speed and what else we got? Burnout Paradise. Well, I hate Burnout Paradise, but Burnout Revenge and Burnout 3. I love racing games. This is, in my opinion, possibly one of the best racing games ever made. Because they were able to merge the best of 4, which was at the time one of the best racing games ever made, and 3, one of the best racing games ever made. They were to get all of what made those 2 games great, put it together in a unique setting, being Mexico. I want to go to Mexico tonight. I want to go to BWI and get the first trip to Tijuana. I don't care. Just get me to Mexico. Get me to Baja. Because they've never made a country look so beautiful. I'm not trying to say it's not beautiful in real life. It totally is. People go, oh, Forza's a racing game. You haven't played Forza Horizon if you say shit like that. It makes racing fun again.
Really?
It's for people that don't like racing games. It's for people that love racing games. This is just like Playground Games is slowly becoming Microsoft's Insomniac. in terms of the quality. Because I did a little bit of research behind the developers, like the actual individual developers. There are legends in that studio, from Blizzard Creations, which made Blur, from the old Project Gotham Racing. Well, that's also Blizzard Creations who did Project Gotham Racing. Criterion, like there's some deepness in that development studio. So Microsoft was smart at the time for, acquiring them, like way back when they were first round of acquisitions. And yeah, it's just so addicting. Like, there's no linear path for success. I personally like off-road type stuff. I like, crashing through the forest and, like fucking jumping over hills and stuff like that in my buggy. You can do that. You don't have to do any road races. You don't have to do any street races. But you can do the events with what car you want, what style you want. Could be a mix, a hodgepodge, could be luxury cars, could be hypercars. It doesn't matter, just as long as you have fun. And that is what this game is. This game is a celebration of cars and a celebration of racing genre. And goddamn, if there's ever a racing game that could win Game of the Year ever, this would be one of them.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, so I have a couple of questions. Okay, so you said that you can use any car that you want to like compete. Does this game scale to whatever your car you're using? So like if you're using okay. So if you're using a buggy, they're not going to be like, "Hey, here's a bunch of sport cars you got to race."
the fun. No. Yeah, I mean, well, you can
see that now.
Actually, you can set up an event that is quote unquote a mixed event, to which you can have hypercars versus SUVs, but all of them have the same power levels essentially, like the same. They might suit the SUVs out to be like a V twin engine or some shit, so we can keep up with the Ferrari or what have you. But they are able. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry,
but you still need skill to really complete the race in a timely fashion.
There are properties with, like, if you want to get if you're a gearhead, you can get down into the nitty gritty of the properties of your car, like in terms of your tire composition. Like if you have a hypercar with drag tires on off road, you're gonna have one heck of an experience. You're sliding all over the place.
But you're not gonna have any grip. Yeah.
But yeah, like you can choose to do that. You don't have to do that, but the smart person will allow you to put. I mean, only in Forza can you put off-road tires on a fucking Bugatti Devo or some shit. But you can if you want. And the in terms of scale, there's a giant fucking volcano in the middle of this map that is just huge. It's just like it is just so far up. And if you were to you can take it just fucking fly. Like I'm playing with people online. Every time I drive by, I see people just flying off of it, like fuck these roads, just jettisoning off of it. You can drift your way up. You can do whatever you want, and that I think the main appeal of why this game is scoring so well is because of how much fluidity and freedom is in it. Like I'm talking to some people that don't fucking like cross country or dirt racing type stuff, but they love the road and track and street racing type deal. But also there's some special missions that have like you're racing a fucking cargo plane that's dropping off people with wingsuits you gotta race. Like it is crazy.
Creative. So Jordan, does it have any urban settings in some of it?
Yes, it does. Like I would have keyed the main area, the main city, because like the previous one was set in Edinburgh in the UK, which was like more like if you played, I don't know, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you might have a point of reference of how that shit looked like. But essentially, it felt so much like an ancient European style. This retained like traditional Mexican style homes and locations. It wasn't like fucking skyscrapers and shit like that. Like Forza Horizon 3, which is set in Australia, which has cities like that. They kept with the tradition of Mexican houses, like beautiful, vibrantly colored, favela style, districts that are just like I don't know how they're able to keep the frame rate up while while flying around this city, drifting around this city, which is very detailed, super detailed. The city, like they actually detailed some of the inside of the fucking houses. They didn't have to do that, but they did. It's crazy.
Wait, how do you see that? Like, is that when you're crashing through the house? You see like,
yeah,
oh,
no.
this is the coffee
If you
table.
stop
Look
by
at
the
that.
house and you
You
look
see the owner
inside,
crying on the side like these cars just broke through.
My
And you're
house.
like, this is so beautiful.
sometimes I mean, like I just imagine this crazy future where like these billionaires are careening through these small Mexican towns, knocking over cars and stuff. But it is like this fantasy, you know, like it is like this fantasy fucking, you know, racer sim. Yeah, but I mean, it is. I'm addicted to it. I can't stop playing it. And I think I put like 60 hours in Forza Horizon 4, and I'm already at like 8 or 9 right now in Forza Horizon 5. Like I need it. I need it in my veins. Great.
Okay,
Jordan, is there? I have one follow-up question. Is there a store in it to buy stuff?
Yeah, if you were to have a collector's edition, that would have given you a few of the car packs, which you know you can purchase later. Like I think for $5 you get like a car pack of like 10 or 12 or something. Yeah, I mean unless you really want those cars, you can do it. But there are in-game challenges you can complete that give you enough points to purchase them, like within the in-game currency essentially. So you don't have to be shoehorned into buying them. But you know, there are like some like hypercars that are very unique. And also they brought back the internal marketplace. So if someone else were to secure that car and they know how valuable that fucking car is, they can charge like maybe 11 or 10 million, 10 million, 20 million in-game credits for you to purchase it buy it outright inside the game. But this game's throwing credits at you all the time. Like you're getting credits for doing nothing. Like you're like
I'm wondering
the wheelsman stuff.
Like there's like an animation where you're on the side of the highway, be like, hey, you want this car? I got it's like
basically the auction house.
I support the pay, so you want to buy this baby? Man, it's going for 10,000 credits. Come on.
The auction.
Oh wait, actually, I have a question because that actually has me thinking. So I mean, you can. Although this person can sell this car for like, I don't know, 11 million credits or whatever number they want to put on it, you can still get that car in game, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, if you did like the challenge points, if you did the challenge points, you'll be able to purchase it, or when it's on the Forza store again.
I see. Okay. It's just a way of getting that car a lot sooner.
Correct.
Some people like to always buy new cars. Some people like to buy used cars, and this appeal it is so inclusive. If you're one of those people who never bought a new car, Forza still have a place for you.
Yeah, right. And it's you actually buying it from the auction house, which does get pretty high stakes. You know, if you try and get that car for less amount, you gotta stay on top of that shit. And it gets pretty heated when you have 10, 12 people, fucking whales in there, 50 million credits, you know, trying to buy your ass out. Do you really want to have that Jetta? Do you really want to have that Jetta? Yes, I need it.
So I have one more question because I saw this and I just don't know how this. I mean, on the face of it, it sounds cool, but in terms of like actual like moment to moment, what's the weather system like? Because I saw a video of like a dust storm, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And then it was just like completely dust on the screen. It's like I don't know where I'm going anymore.
Yeah, and that can totally happen. Like the sound design in this game is fucking crazy. Also with rainstorms too. Like it's all about the type of event. And also it depends on the season too. We're currently in the wet season, which is the summertime. So dust storms are less frequent. But when we do enter another week, maybe during the winter time, I believe dust storms are more prevalent. And within this game, that part of Mexico will be in Baja. Like dust storms are mainly in the Baja sand region.
Okay.
So if you're trying to get your dust storm on, you want to rush over there and try to do like you can actually create a race that is during a dust storm if you'd like, during that season.
Yeah.
But like they're what Forza has done ever since the first Forza Horizon is having a shared overworld where you do meet, interact with people, and complete challenges together, and have impromptu drag races. Sometimes those can occur during a dust storm if you want to, get crazy and fuck around like that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, the weather in this game, like I have a pretty solid surround system. It is intense. Like it is a very like their sound design is A level in terms of like feeling like I'm in a fucking sandstorm. Like I gotta find a new lobby. This sandstorm is too fucking intense.
And then I guess my last question is the scope of the game. It's Mexico. Like how big is the map? It's just one map, right? It's just a big map.
It is
Okay.
one lap. It is one map. I think end to end is like 18 miles, I believe. Like it is it's the largest one they've made so far. And
Yeah.
even in Forza Horizon 4, Edinburgh was I think maybe a few miles smaller. But the scale is felt with the diversity in biomes. Like when I'm near the coast, I feel like I'm in the coast. So I'm in the forest, I feel like I'm in the forest. Like I feel like I've traveled further because of how unique this area is compared to that one. That was what was lacking in Forza Horizon 4, but was retained in Forza Horizon 3. That's why I say that Forza Horizon 5 is the merging of all of them hitting their stride in 3 and 4.
All those lessons learned.
All those lessons learned, but they started off hot, so it's like they keep on refining an already perfect product.
Okay. That sounds like you're having a blast with that game.
Oh man, I am.
All right. Before we jump into the next game, if you're watching us and you've been enjoying the video so far, please like the video, hit the subscribe button, and especially hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date on our future videos. Your support keeps us going, and hitting that bell will keep you up to date with our latest videos. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Next game. Oh, this is actually Jordan again. You're talking about a battle that you had.
Oh, Battlefield?
Battlefield, yes.
Yeah, I tried to get killed by that tornado. It didn't work out. I was killed by a tank that was sitting next to the tornado, an enemy tank with the same goals in mind.
How long were you preparing to be death by tornado?
Like Donald said, I was like, take me. Like, no. But okay, so I'm playing on the Xbox Series X. They had a 10-hour trial for Game Pass owners, but everyone I'm playing with is on PS5, and I'll probably end up getting on the PS5. So like they don't want to do the crossplay with PC players and fucking honest. And no, not because of controllers. Get that shit out of here. But I did not know how much fun I was gonna have with the wingsuit. The wingsuit is very fun in that game. Like we call ourselves a squirrel squad.
I haven't even tried that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you shoot with the wingsuit on?
No, you can't. It's not that cool.
Okay, you're just fine. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. No, like we call ourselves a squirrel squad, and we're like squirrel squad away, and we just like fly into zones, and like it's really easy to kill motherfuckers that are airborne in this game. Like it's like bullets travel quicker in this Battlefield than previous ones.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to get my bearings in terms of objectives and levels again. Like it was like I wasn't familiar, but the I think it's not conquest, but it was a style of map that was introduced in Battlefield 1 where you take each sector, and once you have that sector, you have that control of that part of the zone. That's a more involved form of conquest, which is also still there. Gunplay's fine.
I think that was the mode in the beta, because I think that's what I was playing too when I played that game.
Yeah, the gunplay's fine. Like I had my reservations during the beta because I didn't feel like it was really impactful, but it got better. Switching the attachments has improved. It's less glitchy. The UI has improved slightly. TTK. The time to kill is if you're used to Battlefield, you're used to this time to kill. Like you will die just like that, and hope to God someone's there to revive you by giving you a pat on the back, essentially.
Yeah.
Apparently
it's hard to dodge a tank shell.
Yeah,
it didn't work for me.
Like these maps are immense, and there are separate battles going on all the time. Like only in certain situations will you find both 64-player teams going towards one location. There's usually sub battles fucking around throughout the map. Like we were able to get the this aircraft vehicle close to the hurricane, which sucked us up. Oh, sorry, the tornado sucked us up, and we all kind of flew out, fell out of it in our wingsuits to see how far we can get. So and also in terms of sound design, similar to Forza, I felt like you're in a fucking goddamn tornado.
Oh yeah.
But we weren't able to get the rocket to launch either. So we're still trying to figure that out. Like what situation, who has to be the winning side for? I think it's situational. Who has to be winning for it to be launched or shit like that. I don't know.
Yeah. In one of the games that I played, the rocket launched. and I was unfortunately a little too close to it. So I
Yeah.
was close to it, but I wasn't
Like,
facing
fuck
it.
you, Elon Musk.
Right. Yeah. But yeah,
But yeah,
it's definitely cool.
yeah. I mean, like, well, this game is not launching with single player, so it's kind of like
Mhm.
we'll see how far it goes. But a lot of people are hedging their bets with the Portal mode, which I did not have an opportunity to play. So if you're a classic Battlefield fan, you're looking forward to the Portal mode and playing, better Battlefield games. I don't know. If you like this one, if you don't like this one, go to the previous one. So we'll see if other companies follow suit.
Good point. Good point. Oh, actually, let me just tag in about the whole tornado thing. When Sean and I were playing, and he was in a helicopter, or he was in one of the air vehicles, whatever, and he was flying away from the tornado. But I was like, no, 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 we go towards the tornado. Like
Yeah, fuck
the
that.
only thing that I would want them to do, and I'm not sure if it's fixed from the beta to now, but like I couldn't shoot in the tornado, and
Oh
it's like,
no.
yeah, it's like
That's
I
so
understand because
sad. I'm so looking
it's a
forward to this
little.
tornado.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little hectic, but like I also want to be
Yeah.
able to shoot because there was an enemy in the tornado, and I was just like, I see him. If I could just aim my gun and like just fire a couple of shots,
Yeah.
of course the bullets are gonna go flying or whatever. But still, give me the
Like it
opportunity.
was for the first 2 days, people are fixated on that tornado. I've seen like whole groups of people just rushing towards it just to get that fucking moment. Everyone's trying to pull a Bill Paxton, get that data. Just a reference. Take it.
All right. Last up, Jordan, you're gonna talk about Backbone
Yeah, it's gonna be quick.
and
It said this dystopian version of Vancouver, Canada. It's supposed to like a Zootopia essentially, like anthropomorphic creatures, and you're
oh,
basically playing a detective that's supposed to be solving crimes. That's not true. You're only solving crimes for the first 2 acts. Then it takes a horrible, fucked up, weird narrative turn that I thought it would be able to recuperate. Like it's kind of like a text adventure essentially.
mm-hmm.
But I wish it stayed in the pocket, not to spoil anything. I wish it stayed in the pocket of being a detective trying to solve things, because then
Yeah.
it gets like this weird, grandiose societal change style narrative. And I'm like, just let me solve crimes. Like it has some good puzzles in the first 2 acts. Like I was like, yo, these are
Yeah.
bangers, but like I think the budget didn't allow for them to continue to make interactive puzzles. I don't fucking know.
I see.
But it ends fairly morbidly. I'm like, I didn't buy that one. But I mean, you know what? The music was good though. The music was great. The music in that game was great, and the visuals were very good too.
Good.
It had some good moments
Yeah.
in terms of the narrative, in terms of the dialogue, essentially.
Yeah. Looking at the I just looked up this game. The art style is really cool. Like it's a pixel art kind of side scroller. Yeah, really detailed. All right. Okay. Cool. And GTA, you were playing?
Terrible. Don't support that shit. It is trash. They.
You mean just the trilogy in general, or just your?
I'm just playing
Portion.
San Andreas. We'll like San Andreas was released on Game Pass last week. I'd imagine it would be somewhat comparable to Vice City and 3, in terms of like the engine they use to spruce it up. Like that age of Grand Theft Auto were basically all playoffs of Grand Theft Auto 3, and some of them have recurrent characters.
Yeah.
The lighting in this game is fucked up and weird, especially during cutscenes. Like it's pretty old gameplay style. A lot of the jokes just didn't age well. Like it's like, damn, this is like we were kids and we thought this shit was cool.
Yeah.
It really wasn't that cool.
I mean, we're talking about 20 years ago.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, like I was in high school when GTA.
Yeah, same here. Same here. When GTA 5 came out, I was in high school when GTA 5 came out.
Yeah.
And sorry, GTA San Andreas. Excuse me, GTA San Andreas came out.
Right.
And yeah, like it's just it just feels cheap. It feels cheap because how uninnovative it is. Like this is why we have to like use our language sparingly when it comes to remake versus remaster. This is a quintessential fucking remaster. Like this is just a remastered game that you played back then with either achievements or trophies attached to it if you really want to go that route. But there's nothing new to its gameplay. It's fucking.
It's a nostalgia grab. We're in a 90s, early 2000s moment of nostalgia cash grabbing. I mean, why? I mean, all the movies of Power Rangers and whatnot. it doesn't. This is not a surprise that we're going to remake. I mean, GTA 3. I remember the trilogy in general. Like those were amazing games when they came out back in the day. And I think all this is now is, hey, want to relive your glory 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Pay us some money and here you go.
All right.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Rockstar is in full blown grifting mode right now. Just grifting
you
off
going
three
to-
holes. Like, it's sad to see.
Oh, Jordan, are you going to complete San Andreas?
Probably. I mean, like, there's some cool moments. Like,
I
like-
just want to know, for your segment, you had a high with Forza, and now you're
Right.
like,
slowly started descending.
"Ugh,
Yeah.
I
I mean,
finished it. Not like you're going to like uncover a new ending.
no,
Right,
no,
exactly,
no.
yeah.
I mean, the coolest section in San Andreas, when I talked to other people that were fans of that game, was like when you were like the gang war shit. You were like taking over the ballers and the Los Ventos, whatever, like the Spanish American gang. Like those are the cool moments, like when you were in Los Santos taking over, East Side and shit like that. So that was cool, and I want to see that again. Experience that again. I guess.
Does it feel like revisiting San Andreas when we also had GTA 5? Like, does it seem jarring, the differences between the two?
Well, you know what? Same to Forza. It's San Andreas only felt larger because it had like 3 distinct zones. Like 5 is just Los Santos and then the backwater area essentially. Because you had like Las Vegas and you had San Francisco and San Andreas and you had Los Angeles. So it felt like at the time, like the scale just felt bigger because you had 3 distinct zones. And maybe that's something that people are hoping for in the next Grand Theft Auto game if we get that, by the time I pay off my mortgage, I guess. I don't fucking know. We'll
I think you buying this game is still investing into GTA.
I did not buy this game. This game was thrown into my fucking.
Sorry. Microsoft,
It's one of those
cut
Game
up
Pass
your plays
trinkets.
to them. Help goes to
They're not always shiny like Forza. They're not always shiny. Some of them really got to spit on
Another
it.
thing,
Make
I was
fun.
debating getting the trailer because I really want to play GTA 3. Like I played some of it, but I was too young. Like it was my brother-in-law's game, so I had to go over to his house to play it. So I didn't. I distinctly remember like just once he unlocked everything, just like being clawed and just like burning down whole blocks. Like that was fun times back in the day. So that's why I've been debating, like, maybe I should, as an adult, replay this. But from what you're telling me, it's like, I'll be like, why the fuck am I play this from 20 years ago?
No. I mean, if you're trying to get trophies or achievements, then sure, but it's the same fucking game, and it's not. It doesn't look great. It doesn't look great. Like that's the most damning thing about it. It doesn't look great, and it was crazy how much Rockstar punished actual modders who took care in improving those games, which is
that's a weird part of it too. Yeah,
I don't want to. I don't want. I wouldn't want a GTA 3 that wasn't it. Like I want what I want. Is GTA 3.
Right.
But I wanted better graphics. I wanted to work more smoothly using the power of the PS5.
It's not doing that at all.
If you don't have that technical, like that's to me, that's the whole purpose. It's a technical upgrade.
Right.
Now,
you could probably run this game on a phone. To be honest,
there is a mobile game for GTA 3. I almost bought it. Yes,
it came out for the Switch, and Shreen got it for the Switch, and she's playing Vice City right now. And like we're gonna talk about it in the quick hits, but like in terms of what they did for polish, it is kind of cheap what they did because but like I'm definitely of the thing where it's like I definitely was like, no, I'm not gonna get this. I've played it back then. I don't need to relive those memories because once I do that, I know I'm gonna be my memories is gonna be tainted.
What?
Like that's
our generation wants to relive the past. What do you mean you don't want to relive memories? Come on, that's what industry is telling us.
Like the most damning thing, Donald, to your point, is that it's across the board. I mean, it's Switch, it's Xbox, it's PlayStation. It's like they did not give a fuck.
Yeah,
they just knew fuckers were gonna buy it.
Exactly.
And
and that's where I was getting at in terms of like this is definitely not positioned for the Xbox Series X and PS5. Like this is positioned for whatever console we could put this on that will allow this game to be.
They'll buy it. They'll play the fucking thing. All right.
But all right. So for me, I have been continuously playing Riders Republic. This game has crossed the threshold for me. It went from like, oh, this is cool. Like a couple of casts ago, I was like, this isn't SSX. This is better than SSX. The only thing that SSX has
Action!
on
I was playing. I have no fucking reference. I haven't played it yet, so I'll take your word.
yeah. The only thing that SSX has over this is the crazy like trick courses.
Yeah.
But in terms of what this game offers, like I've finally got around to understanding how to pilot the wingsuit and the rocket wing. So the wingsuit is literally like the squirrel suits that you're talking about from Battlefield.
Girl
And the
Squad,
rocket
attack!
right. And the rocket wing is like think of a wingsuit, but you have like a rocket pack on your back and you're flying like that. And like
Mhm.
those two are probably the most jarring control wise because you go from using your left and right analog sticks to like control your movement, control camera, to those where you really just want to control your movement. Because if you control the camera and the movement, because you're in like you're flying, it just gets really bad. But yeah, like once I figured that out, it was like, oh, this game is great. Like when it comes to, I think, because I was following some of the journalist talks about this game, and like they were like, oh, I don't like the energy of this because it feels so like in your face and kind of cheesy. But then it's just
But
like,
that's what they wanted to do. That's what the only
yeah,
game that's done that
exactly.
shit. Gotta be
Yeah,
unique these times.
that's their intent. Like they are trying to go for that like extreme sports like dude bro kind of like
Fuck
energy,
yeah.
and like they nail it. And it's one of those things where like playing this game, it definitely puts you in a mood, in a zone, because it's just like, oh, this is cool. Like everything I'm doing is cool and it's supposed to be cool. So I personally I feel like they nail that. I've finally gotten ingrained to just, instead of trying to fast travel to different events, I just bike or I snowboard or snowmobile or rocket wing to the event
Mhm.
instead. And it's really amazing what they've accomplished with this game in terms of everything that's happening at the same time. Like as when I'm rocket wing, like I can see the terrain below me, and you can see like little player icons. So they use player icons when you're further away from the environment to show like the people like that's traversing the environment. And it's just like this whole stream of people going this direction. You got one person that's just kind of straggling off into like another direction. You got people in the air also doing stuff as well. And it's just like this game is a literal playground for extreme sports.
Nice.
And yeah, it's one of those things where I am slowly starting to unpeel like the different layers of the game. Like even the customization for the character outfits and so on and so forth. Like that was one of the things that I was paying for, because there is a in-game store. There's premium currency in the game that you can use to buy like the really cool looking outfits. And some of them you can buy with in-game currency, but some of them is just premium currencies. And it's just like, yeah, I get that. That kind of sucks. But at the same time, like they offer you enough stuff to unlock and earn if you do the sponsor stuff. But, on the face of it, you're not going to understand that unless you're playing the game. So if you just open the store and you see what's available, it's only going to be a few things. So you're just going to think like, oh, there's not much customizations, but it's in there. You just got to play the game. So yeah, like I'm really having a great time with this game. Like in terms of critiques, I like thinking like looking at the Forza like weather patterns and stuff like that. I kind of wish they did something to that effect in this game. I think that would be cool if there was like, oh, there's a snowstorm or like a blizzard while you're playing the game. Like that changes
Mhm.
it up. But they do a good job of offering different vibes when playing the game, which is kind of different for me. Like it's unique because like there's some races where it's in completely black and white, or it's like the music completely changes, and like there is uh little like glowy thing. I don't know. They do a lot to make the races feel different, even though like you are just racing from point A to point B and doing tricks. But yeah, really enjoying the game, having a great time.
How's the progression in that game?
So the progression is actually it's really really good. Like every time you race, so each of the different sports have a career level bar, and when you hit to the next level of your career, you get a vehicle. So you get like a bike, a snowboard, or a rocket wing or whatever in that particular career. So if you're leveling up in the bike stuff, you will get bikes. If you're leveling up in the snowboard and ski stuff, you'll get snowboard and skis. Um, as you level up, you also get uh what do they call it? Like funky vehicles. And they are vehicles that are essentially exotic vehicles. So some of the vehicles where it'd be really, really good at doing like tricks, but um its grip is like really, really bad. So, and then there's another bike that is like really, really fast and it sprints really good, but it also has like zero grip. So it's one of the things where you can play these things and it changes up how you play because you have to take account for uh the way that the vehicle works. But yeah, it's really cool. It's really fun. Like I'm having a good time, and like I can do this now. Oh, I can do this now. This is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, having a good time. All right, Avery, you've been playing more Apex.
Yes, I am deep down the rabbit hole of Apex Legends Season 11. Not much has changed since the last chime in I've had.
Mhm.
The new map is really fun, really interesting. I don't want to play. I don't want to see it played in competitive until they somehow figure out how to deal with all these giant fucking hills. Like, hey man, if I'm on high ground, if I'm on low ground and the zone's pulling high ground and it's the only way to go, I'm just dead because this map is designed. If you're smart and you're on this map, you're using long range weapons, which means I'm just. And it's not. It's
That can
there.
be frustrating.
This is a map where I need to see a tactical like this is a map where fundamentally there might be a meta of characters you have to run on this map to be able to play at a high level. Like Gibraltar is like a must pick on most maps because straight up he's a broken character and only a fool would go into a fight without Gibraltar. But this map is like if I like Wraith can't get up this hill because my TP is just me running in the open up a hill. I'm dead here.
Yeah.
Octane, I'm gonna jump pad in midair. Probably gonna die here. Valkyrie, they're gonna shoot me out of the sky if I'm landing. Pathfinder, only an idiot would try to zip line up this hill. Ash might be the most meta in that, hey, I can just aim up and I'll get to the top of the hill and you won't be able to shoot me while I'm doing it. But it's
that
like
teleport thing, right?
yeah. But it's like, oh man, so does that mean Ash is a must run on this map? So like now it's like the meta is like, okay, I guess it's Ash, Gibraltar, Valkyrie. That's like that's not fun. Like I play Gibraltar because he's broken and like no one wants to play him. And I'm like, I don't understand why you guys would not play the broken agent. He's super broken. Why like oh, you went down in the middle of an open field? I'll just drop in a vulnerable bubble and put you up off the ground. And then we can, I don't know, reset and just keep walking. But that's just me ranting and raving. I'm liking the map. I'm interested to see what their next collection event and their next takeover is going to be in regards to changing up the map because fundamentally, like, the map is huge. So like there's a lot of air, like this isn't like old maps where like when they added something new, they took out something. This seems like there's a lot of open space to just add new stuff and hopefully solve some of my issues. The next collection event is obviously going to be somehow Watson related. So as someone who was an OG Watson main for like 3 seasons until they broke her, I'm interested in to see what that will be and if it will be as cool as all the other heirlooms. Because for every Rafe Kunai or Gibraltar axe, you get a Mirage statue, which is just a statue of himself that he hits people with, and that's not worth $500. I don't care what you say. That's not worth $500. But yeah, I'm enjoying Apex. I'm probably gonna stop playing it for a bit because of Valorant and finally beating Far Cry. But I'll talk more about Valorant another day.
Cool. All right. And then last up, Douglas. What you been playing?
I'm not going to talk about Overwatch, which I have done over the past few years. Because Fortnite has really been taking over my place, my heart for Overwatch.
Wow.
Even my Overwatch crew, we only play Overwatch when there's an event, so we get some skins. Even that has kind of fallen. Fortnite has really not taken all of us. A few of us are in Fortnite, but I can't believe it, but I actually am enjoying this battle royale for squads. I mean, right now we're like the latter stages of season 8, and there's like I think it ends on December 5th, and last week is when I completed my battle passing completely, like even all the bonus giveaways.
Did you pay for the battle pass?
Yes, I did pay for the battle pass.
Oh, okay.
I mean it's Fortnite. I mean,
Yeah.
they get it.
They
I pay my
pass.
taxes, I pay my
Right.
health deductions, I pay Fortnite.
More important
It's
things,
part
of
of what
course.
I do every
But
2
did you
weeks.
pay for your battle pass, sir?
Of course I did. Of course I did. I don't need another man to pay for my stuff. I can pay for my own.
Right.
And it's just I guess the thing about it's like I really have grown to really enjoy sniping, which is something that
Sniping is always great.
I've heard some people say that the way that sniping occurs in Overwatch is unique with Overwatch, and they make it harder for some reason, whereas other games you get just more leeway with sniping or it's more comfortable. Either way, I'm amazing at sniping. Like, granted, they also give you an automatic sniper rifle, but like I must have like 14 kills one day on Team Rumble.
Wow.
It was beautiful. It was just gorgeous. Like
Bodies hit the floor, Doug.
and
Turn all of your problems in enemy players.
right.
Shoot them down.
It was calm. And I'm just so and like I said, like it even though this battle pass offerings is not the best booty, I'm relatively new, but I'm still enjoying this journey.
Yeah.
They got a lot of my money when they brought up Batman stuff, so I had to pump up that dollars. It was I had to now I can complete my DC characters. I got Superman, I got Batman, I got Wonder Woman, and Catwoman. We're good. I mean, there's still a couple other people I'll get later on, but yeah, I've just been like every day. There's always something different that they're offering, so I always feel like at 8 o'clock I always check to see what's in the store. I know that this week Naruto's coming to Fortnite. I believe that
old Naruto or little Naruto. Which one they got going?
The older one, because you gotta be able to shoot him.
Okay.
So I believe rumor has it that
he's like 14 years old. He's still a child.
I know, but
hey! He's an adult in their timeline.
Yeah, and he could be charged an adult in some places of this country. So
Right.
I mean, it works, right? Yeah, I think he's supposed to appear as a boss on the island, which would actually be unique because we haven't had like a beatable boss on the island this season as of yet. I mean, there's some.
He better be in
AI.
like the rampage QB form, like 4 tails at least.
Right.
That'd be dope.
So they haven't. So I guess on Tuesday they will reveal those details. Tuesday the 16th. But otherwise, yeah. I mean, I do play it, but Deep is also growing to freshman. I think they're hitting their ceiling too. Where Overwatch hit its ceiling, 3 years ago. But Daylight, I think, is hitting their ceiling now with like we don't know what the fuck to do with this game, y'all. And oh god, I said a bad word. But then this game, Fortnite is still
Very explicit.
Oh, thank you. Fortnite is still
rated E for explicit.
Still just churning out new content, so I'm hooked.
Yeah.
I thought there was there's something going on with Dead by Daylight. The Korean pop star, something like that.
So
BTS.
I hope. I truly hope.
That's the trickster. So there is they released a new tome about a week ago, maybe about a week or 2 weeks ago, but they revamped the intro to the game because actually no, 2 weeks ago was Halloween, so there was all about the Halloween event. And after the Halloween event ended, then they opened a new tome, which is kind of like their form of a battle pass mixed in with lore.
Gotcha.
There's a free side, there's a paid side to it, and Trickster, who is the K-pop murderer, I mean, if there was anybody to murder you, he's like the coolest guy to get murdered. He winks at you, he laughs, his little charisma, and charm.
He's a cool
He's
guy. Cool guy doing cool things
yeah,
with knives in people's bodies.
And when at the end of it, he flicks a little card at you, so you get a little memento. Like I want to feel special when I'm murdered. I don't know about you. It's not like clown who stomps your brain out and then chop a piece of your thumb and snack on. No, I don't want to be your snack. Unless you're Trickster snack. But anyway, it is he's one of the main characters of the lore for this chapter of the tome. So that's why you see stuff for him. They also they just released a new killer on a PTB. As well as a new survivor, which is this is why I said that I think they're kind of running towards the edge of their ideas, because her whole job is to cut down loops, and as a survivor, that's the only thing you have to survive is loops. So at this point, I think they're like, as one of my friends says, we're gonna have to be X-Men at a certain point to trick, because there's nothing else. Dead by Daylight is a glorified cat and mouse game, and if you just cut away where the chase is, then it's like, okay, what am I supposed to do?
Right.
Can't jump. I can't shoot you. But that's the game.
All right. Well, that has been what we have been playing. So before we jump into the quick hits, we have a word from our sponsors. And we are back. And now it's time for the quick hit. Grab this. Number 1. This comes from Joe Scrabble from IGN. GTA Trilogy is having... right. If you know, you know. GTA Trilogy is having a rough launch in multiple respects. So, essentially the game, the launcher. So I'm just gonna read this. It'd be a lot easier if I read this. So Rockstar's game launcher is now back online. However, Grand Theft Auto the Trilogy Definitive Edition will remain unavailable to play or purchase as we work to remove some data files that were unintentionally included in the new versions of these games. We sincerely apologize for the inconvenience, and we hope to have the correct versions of the game up and running for everyone as soon as possible. So, what happened was they launched the game with files that was not supposed to be a part of the game, and of people being people. Yeah. So they found the files and they're like, "Oh, look at this!" And
the children. What about the children? What about the children?
Copy got released.
Kind of.
I think people should be able to buy that. That would be amazing.
You know what?
Wait. Are we saying that in this day and age, in this culture, when you're literally having like yada 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 on a Grammy stage, and we're still upset about hot coffee, y'all? Like, come on.
Yeah. It's one of the things where, like, on the face of it, everyone's excited to have the. Then actually, now that it's released, there is just so much like.
It would make
Rockstar,
so much money.
What were you doing? Like, were you guys just really focusing on GTA 6 and just kind of just like gave like 5 people to work on the trilogy? Another thing that people have been spotting is that there is a lot of just text errors in the signs and stuff in the game, because the AI translated the previous game.
That's
to
a
what
big thing about
now.
this remaster that people discovered, that they use an AI program to upscale a lot of the textures in the game instead of actually like rebuilding them from the ground up or even giving a human pass on things. So you get situations where like a pixelated sign in GTA 3 that said air guitar says like AR guitar because the AI could not read air and put it as AR.
Yeah.
Would this be a failure of QA?
No, it's a failure of that AI. Like that's because what ends up happening is they literally took this code, they put it into the AI, and they translated it to this game, and they're like, all right, well, job done. Like, yeah, they have the excuse me, yeah, they have the QA people test the game, but even if they point it out, it's just like they can't point out everything. Because that's a really
it's a giant open world game. Like, this is one of those things where like they would have had to take an extra year of just like meticulously going over every texture and things. And at that point, why don't you just actually rebuild the textures by hand?
Mm-hmm. Well,
and
that costs money.
You just didn't want to put the money into this.
Yeah, it costs money and time and patience.
Exactly. Okay, number 2. This comes from Luke Puckett. From Kotaku. Metal Gear Solid games being removed over historical footage. So it's pretty much it is what it is. So Kojima, when he first made the original couple of games, he included some historical content. And that being said, copyright, all that stuff, it expires. So they reached a point where they either have to renegotiate the contracts or just remove it from the game. It looked like they chose to remove it from the game. So we'll see. I mean,
Oh
those
no,
who
they
are
just they
interested-
chose to remove the game.
Oh, you know what? That was my fault.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely an option. That's an option.
So what if it? So if you pay,
But here's the thing. I've been watching Kind of Funny go through the Metal Gear Solid games,
Oh,
and
yeah, good-
you don't like the amount of real world footage in those games will surprise you. That being said, it's old footage from like documentary archival stuff, so I don't think the licensing is going to be like a real issue to get renewed at a relatively good rate. It's just Sean brought this into the Slack as like a news story, and his point was how fucking dumb digital rights are and how dangerous it is for like the preservation of games. And like he's not wrong that like this minor thing has essentially removed 3 of the best games of all time from any marketplace. And that's
Yeah.
kind of scary. Cause like, hey,
Yeah.
when it happens to like bad games, no one blinks an eye. But like these are 3 of the best games ever made that suddenly you just can't buy unless you have a physical copy right now.
I also feel
Right.
like that's also though like that's a failure for them to getting the appropriate licensing. Like I remember
then-
with
But like they got that licensing in an era when like digital rights weren't going to be a thing. Like they got that licensing
Yeah.
when like everything was physical.
I mean, really and truly, that's sort of the same thing with SSX. Like, that's one of the reasons why it's having a hard time coming back, because a lot of the music that they had in the game was licensed.
Well, you can still buy an SSX3 on Xbox Marketplace. Yeah, I'm playing on Series X. You can do it.
Yeah, no, but I
still
think
got it.
that is specific to Microsoft shelling out the money for that, though.
Yeah,
I'm talking about it being,
it's part of their
like,
backwards
available.
compatibility thing. That's one of the things where they would have to gone through the QA to get that game to work to come out. But I think what DJ's pointing to is like a like SSX remake or like actually bringing or remaster of any of those old games. Like they really can't do that. Like it's another reason why the GTA.
EA is the publisher of SSX.
Yeah.
And they,
I think-
Yeah, I know. EA don't want to spend that money.
It's literally another issue with like this also brings up back to the
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto situation. Like one of the reasons those games are kind of cheap is a lot of that money into the remakes kind of have to go to maintaining those game soundtracks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you got to
And-
renegotiate all those songs. I can see that.
Right.
I have
And
a
the other
question.
side to it,
What is Metal Gear?
it's solid.
Oh, I thought that was they said this in the game, right? Like, what is Metal Gear out? Fuck it.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, whatever. No one cares.
Oh, we care, Jordan.
I was very confused. I played enough Metal Gear and I'm like, has Snake ever said what is Metal Gear? He may have in like Metal Gear X for like the NES or some shit. But like Metal Gear Solid, like, oh, I know what a Metal Gear is. I fought 2 already. Let me just get this rocket launcher and kill this giant T-Rex.
All right. I just noticed a little inconsistency with the frames, but I'll be working on that while we talk about number 3s from Ian Walker. Kotaku talks about Lies of P. It's a soul-like starring Pinocchio of all people. No, this is actually this trailer was amazing. Avery, you being the Bloodborne person, go ahead and just rave about it.
So like, I go into every Souls like with like, okay, you're not From Software, wow me. Because like at this point, From Software, if they say we're making a Souls like, and I don't know, it's gonna be about a fucking slime rolling downhill, I'll probably play it and be like, this is the greatest game ever made. 10 out of 10, game of the year. But no, it's this is from a brand I don't know the exact information about the studio itself, but from
round 8 studio. So
yeah, okay, yeah. So I'm not sure if they're brand new and what their other works have been. I probably have to look more into that. But the trailer that they presented to me was like, oh, this is Bloodborne. This is just Bloodborne. And then with the individual weapons, the Victorian art style, the just the general vibe and theme of the game, I'm like, oh, this is Bloodborne. And then the main character has the game, I believe, is supposed to be like a metaphorical retelling of Pinocchio, in which
this looks creepy as shit.
Yeah, you are Pinocchio and you're looking for Geppetto in this town where like all the people there are puppet monsters, and you're fighting them with cool Bloodborne-esque transforming weapons. And then then the main character has a transforming arm, and I'm like, oh shit, this is also Sekiro. And I'm like, this has my attention. It looks, from a just presentational standpoint, it looks really well. This also looks like one of the few games that seems to have actually you could have told me this was a From Software game from this trailer, and I probably would have believed you based on the animations that they were using in the movement. And so I'm
even the environment.
Yeah, I'm watching it right now. It got me the steampunk vibes. I'm liking that grapple hook. That's looking looking good.
Yeah, so I'm very interested to see.
Might check this out also.
What this game is going to look like in a year's time when we finally get to see him play it, because
definitely
this was a great turnabout, and I'm hoping more people talk about it going forward, so it doesn't just disappear off the radar.
Like maybe because I think Death's Door kind of gave me a little bit of an impression of what a Souls game will be or could be, and I kind of of course, it was super light, but in terms of I have to make this area without dying, I'm restarting. I never really experienced that and enjoyed it, but I enjoyed that, and this may be that game that will get me into a proper, more grandiose and a higher caliber, visually, Dark Souls game.
Jump into our group. We're all gonna be playing Elden Ring. Do it.
That he's lying to you. I'm going to be playing Elden Ring by myself. They're going to be playing Elden Ring together because they need the training wheels.
No, because we enjoy each other's company, Avery. But
this game was fucking dope. I like it.
Yeah, Sean's gonna be playing it. I'm gonna be playing it. And we're gonna team up, and we're gonna force Avery to team up.
As I said, when I beat in the game, I have I'm assuming level 53 tarnished one. Yeah, you can summon me in. I can do some light work on the boss that you're struggling with, because DJ apparently doesn't know how to equip a sword.
Well, that's just Bloodborne, okay? Bloodborne has its own problems. All right, number 4. This comes from Ethan Gotch from also Kotaku. Far Cry 6 Studio announced pay raise to stop developers leaving. So, on the face of it, it's like, oh, this is great. But when you actually drill down into it, the raises are for the highest paid people there. So this is actually prompting some criticism.
No. It's for everybody. It's just...
Yes, you're right. But the highest paid people there are actually getting more money than the lower paid people.
It's all percentages. They pump more money into operations. Everything will continue to rise up for whoever is in that. It's not like they're reappropriating funds from the highest payers to entry level, mid level employees. Everyone's getting a bump up, so there's not that much change there.
But the thing is, if you're of the lower end of the pay range, you get 5%. But if you're in the higher end, you get about maybe 20%.
What?
And 20%.
That's aggressive. I don't like that.
But the thing about it to me is, this is another reason why the video game industry needs a unionization.
Yes.
I mean, this is what happens when you don't have a union. We have these disparate changes in pay. We have complete pay lack of transparency, because you don't know who's getting what percentages. You don't know who's getting paid. So you don't really know if you're getting paid fairly. When people hide how much they earn from one another, you don't understand the marketplace, and all that really benefits is the employer, not the employees.
Exactly.
But are any of you guys in a union of some sort at your jobs?
Yeah. I was automatically thrown into it. I didn't have a choice.
I'm sorry, you don't live in a right to work state. Because I'm in a union too. But our pay, we have a pay scale, so you can see what everybody earned. I think these initiatives like that, like activism's trying to do their own type of we want to help you. I think the industry is scared that these people will actually come together and form a union. I think they're just scared. It's maybe if we throw money at the problem, you don't have to worry about it.
Well, I just think game development is so fluid. Each title, developers
Yeah.
get the fuck out of there for the most part when a big release happens. They move to different
Hollywood
ones.
is more fluid than that, and you still
Yeah.
have a union.
But
Like,
My
the
job
thing
is
is-
more fluid.
I think
and you still have a union.
but like Hollywood is like 5 fucking people, like 5 like studios making films, and everything sort of filters through that. Well, if
Yeah,
games,
guilds.
yeah,
But that's not a reason. That's not. Look
no,
at my
I'm
job.
not. Yeah, I
I'm
know.
gonna
I'm
turn
not.
out my job 2 to 3. Most employees at my job.
But
turn out within
I think
3
I
years.
think there
So
two
union.
types. I have no real union knowledge at all. So this is just me going off in my head. There are 2 types of conversations to be had about unions and games. There's games as a whole unionizing, and we get like a video games guild, like so that have like a Screen Actors Guild and stuff like that, where like here's everyone in games getting together. Or there is, hey, we work at public or Studio X, and we as a collective in the studio are unionizing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
and
I mean the latter would be more difficult because you do need to have enforcers outside of the organization. Well, not necessarily enforcers, but SOPs outside of the organization that people reference.
To get a union within a workplace, you just have a certain number of people vote for it.
I mean, like
You sign a card.
it's easier to break up that way. Is what I'm trying to say. It's easier to break up something within an organization than something that's a part of a grander, like a SCIU or a Unite Here. Like just
No.
like
That's not how that works.
okay.
That's not how that like SCIU is part of a larger organization. It's like my union, for my workplace is a member of an even bigger union. But like
Oh.
most common, yeah. So my
But
union is actually a member of UAW.
Yeah.
But that's just union business. That has nothing to do with interacting with the management.
Well, like Unite Here, at least within like based on my knowledge, working with them, they had union membership that was across many hotels. Like not every hotel had its own union. Like that is the style that I was referencing based off of Avery's example.
I think maybe this will turn frame. I think what you're talking about is more like the type that the former, like kind of like a guild style that you're talking about, kind of like what Avery's like. Where you have your union maybe a certain class of employment. So you have all developers, all designers, your game QA folks can all be part of their own individual guilds, and they can negotiate with management. And that's one form of it. You're right about that. Fine. Like my union is particular to my law firm, and there's high turnover in my firm just because of the nature. People burn out easily in what we do, but we still have a union bargaining agreement. A collective bargaining agreement. Like I know we do have pay equity because we all know who earns what, and we all have our raises are predetermined, and we know what's going to happen. So you wouldn't have like random 20% raises, but I also have like job security. Like I can't get removed for cause, or like or my benefits are protected, and this is still it may not be as high of a turnover as say game development, but this is why people burn out the field already. And yeah, that's what I think. They're just throwing money at people because I think they're really scared that it would actually form a union. It's just, you're right. One thing, it just takes a lot of effort. And I know that I think it's called Game Workers Unite is trying to do something. But I'm still surprised at this day and age we don't have an active union in the gaming industry.
Gaming
we're young, relatively young in comparison to other forms of entertainment.
I was literally about to say the same thing. That gaming is like a newer medium of
and then because we are a technology based industry, what gaming is evolves tremendously. If a union was formed in like the 70s, it was what they would be protecting and doing then is far more different than what we were doing now.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't disagree. I think that a good union should be able to be responsive to its members. A union's only as strong as the people who make it up. You're right. I don't disagree with you.
All right, we're gonna move on. I think we reached a good point, but just for the sake of time, number 5. This comes from Takashi Mochizuki. Yeah, Takashi Mochizuki.
Close.
He got it.
It's one thing I can read is Japanese name. He's from Bloomberg. Sony cuts PlayStation 5 production on chip short. That sounds weird. Sony cuts PlayStation 5 production. It should be because of chip shortages, not on chip shortages. Anyways, if you've been following recent events, like if you've been paying attention to this thing called the pandemic or electronics, you probably have heard about this chip shortage thing and how it could possibly affect, I don't know, everyone because of the pandemic. Well, yeah, it's affecting everyone. So what's happening now is PlayStation or Sony has to cut their forecast for how many PS5s they can produce because the lack of materials. And that's that. That's great. Or not great, but like, whatever. They're doing what they have to do. This is just a public service announcement to everyone who is going to be doing holiday shopping. You have to do that right now. Don't wait till Black Friday because
if
by
you can
Black
get
Friday,
one, secure one right now. That's another thing.
yeah, right. I mean, I'm just talking about general like everything because the supply chain shortage is a real thing and it is going to have a very, very big impact at the end of November, start of December when people actually start holiday shopping. So
you think
go
this
ahead
will
and get that stuff going.
You think this will make more people shop in a store versus online?
100%.
I think you might have a better chance at stores these days than the online vendors.
Like DJ knows the trials and tribulations I had to do to go online to buy a fucking PS5. Like that shit is not easy. Like in a store, all you have to do is compete with the people in the general area to get your shit. Well, in online, you need to compete with everyone plus the thousands of bots that are designed to fuck you.
Yeah, no, we were lucky enough to get ours to PlayStation Direct was what we were following.
Yep,
the most part. Like that is when we tell people we got through PlayStation Direct, they're like, no fucking way, no fucking way you get PlayStation Direct. But one thing to the earlier part in terms of the supply chain, I'd be very wary of Taiwan right now, and like the saber rattling because Taiwan is the world's largest exporter of semiconductors. If that shit gets weird in the South China Sea or whichever country wants to call that general area of water, that will destroy all of, like in terms of the supply chain for all electronics, be it phones, be it cars, like that shit would be devastating. So not trying to scare nobody,
I don't think we
get your PS5s now.
I don't think we talked about this, but there was a story where Sony's talking about how they're gonna
make their own fucking factory,
in Japan, and it's like, all right, you do what you gotta do.
I mean, Sony is a entertainment electronics company. Like that is the smart, like that is an incredibly smart thing for future proofing going forward that they probably should have done ages ago.
It's not until the worst happens.
Yeah,
I think we're seeing the drawback of globalization from the early 2000s, where everything was all happy and like let's move around. And, people could do things.
Certain people
I blame Michael Jordan.
Certain people were happy. Other people were upset about Americans losing their jobs. We're not going to talk about those people.
All right. So instead of doing a heavy hitter, because of time, we're going to make this a quick hit. So number 6. This comes from Joseph. Nope. Is that nope?
I would call it. I would say nope as well.
All right.
Not. Go for it.
Either one works. Well, we don't know. All right. This is from IGN. Fortnite pulls Travis Scott emote after Astroworld concert tragedy. So Avery was actually going to have this heavy hitter. He was following this at the time, so he had more information on it. I heard about this after the fact, like way after the fact, and I was just kind of confused about what's happening because I couldn't find like the one thing that was saying like, okay, this happened here, and this is why Travis Scott is being put under the microscope and X, Y, and Z. So Avery, what actually happened?
Well, okay, so I don't, as Marcus isn't here to roast me because he knows most of my darker secrets, but I don't give a shit about popular music. In the context of it existing in a vacuum. Anytime I get involved in music, it's through the medium of soundtracks or theme songs, or essentially in this connection with media that I actually do care about. So like my only reference to Travis Scott is the Fortnite concert he did a year ago, which I thought was really good. And most of those songs I still listen to this day because I just think of the concert and I think of how hype it was. So I had no conscience of him as a performer or as a rapper or a human being. But all I know is I was just on video game Twitter and Gene from the Washington Post. I forgot his last name, but he's a prominent pundit in video games. It was like sharing images, like sharing stories from Astroworld, and it was like this young black man just sitting there talking about how like he was like people were on the floor just like not moving, and he's like he'd seen all this death in front of him, and I'm like, what the fuck happened? So I just drilled into it, and I learned that about a week ago, Travis Scott was having a pandemic concert in his hometown of Houston, and shit got crazy to the point where people were dying. Yeah, people were dying in the crowd, and to add insult to injury, Travis Scott just did his entire set like nothing happened. There was a couple of breaks where he like stopped to see what was going on, but then he just kept going, and like we've seen.
The thing is, I don't think he could see.
Well,
he can tell some things, but he can't really hear because the counts. Like he has.
Yeah, that was my understanding of the situation. Like, like all the stage lights and all that, but then like you see footage from inside the crowd and footage from like 5 feet away from him on stage, and it's just people screaming like "Help us, help!" and things like that. And then they're showing footage of like ambulances and police cars just like surrounding the venue that you can see from the stage. Like, there's no amount of light that would have blocked out those lights from the background. So stuff was happening around him, and he just kept going on performing. And so from the aftermath, there are it's either 8 or 9 confirmed dead, and like a countless amount of injuries. And this Fortnite move is very much we are going to distance ourselves from Travis Scott as a person, so that like in a way that we can safely do, because like the emote is disabled. You can't really buy it in the store. I think it's like a seasonal event type of thing. So you can't really find it in the store. They can't really stop you from putting on the Travis Scott skin or the Astro Jack skin or anything like that. But they can keep you from doing the emote and not be a big issue within the game.
Yeah,
that's a weird thing because I would say I don't normally see many people play as him. Not often.
Well, because it's Fortnite, so it's like it's. From what I can tell with skins, it's either you're playing as a basic female skin because you want the tactical advantage, or you're on a seasonal round of skins where like, brand new skin came out, it's new hotness, I'm wearing this. Like I saw when Ariana Grande skin got released, that's all people were wearing. But are people still wearing Ariana Grande skin now? Especially now that we're getting Naruto skins and like all these other new skins.
Right.
You're right. I don't. I'm such a defendant attorney.
No, this is actually very like no.
Well, no, because I don't know how much response. I'll put it this way.
Also, real quick to keep it short within the quick hits, we won't have a full discussion. I mean, we can't have a full discussion, but yeah.
I don't know how much response. I mean, it is his show, so there's some level of response. I just don't know how much because I don't know what it's like to be on stage and what you can and cannot see, and your obligations to like. So the show must go on.
Yeah. Well, like, and then two things to add on to that is that one, a lot of musical artists have come out and said how much like of their experiences on stage, and it's not looked good for Travis in that situation. And then two, other people have pointed out that this is Travis's rowdy crowds is a recurring pattern with him, like him egging people to jump off high structures to like get involved and things like that, and like he's already been like cited for like endangerment in the past. So it's like it's one of those things where like I very much feel like beyond him not having an understanding, and I don't want to do the fear mongering. He incited an incident bullshit, but I'm very much of the mindset that he fundamentally doesn't really give a shit about what's going on in the crowd so much as it props up his sort of aesthetic, his like artistic aesthetic, if that makes sense.
You feel like someone's like a failure of imagination because it's a huge venue, it's a big place. I could see someone say, "Well, poor people gonna be rowdy." You're in almost like a field.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not like a closed concert
And then
hall
from
where
a,
you have
yeah.
these seats and people. No, they're just standing.
Yeah. And then from a venue standpoint, they needed far more security and far more like cordoning off barriers. So like the level of crowd that they got should have never happened. But then you get to the Travis of it all of like, you probably have the best view of everything going on, regardless of like your eyesight situation. Like
But you're also performing. You're doing several things at once.
And then people have also pointed out multiple videos of other musical artists in Travis's exact same situation, just stopping their show to address issues in their crowds.
I know. So he did pause. That's the thing. He paused a few times, and it just like I don't. I just take my own experience like as a litigator. Like when I'm in court, I call it being on. There's just so many things I'm paying attention to. The person just say on. It's just the best way because you're hypersensitive to what's all around you, but that also means you have to close out everything out. I have no clue what's going on behind my back. I don't know what's going on in my periphery. Yeah. I'm paying attention to who's in front of me. I got lines I got to read. I got to listen feedback over what the other person's saying, so I can see.
Yeah. And it's hard to see because like it's been acknowledged as a mass casualty event. So it's like it's one of those things where like that's like
it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate.
It sucks.
So
and
nine deaths as a mass casualty.
It was 8 deaths
for a. I mean, like when I guess I don't. This is like the technical legal terms. I guess like a school shooter like shooting and killing like 5 or 6 people is always I think classified similarly. So I guess in the same context of a musical venue, it would apply.
I just feel like maybe this is a sign how desensitized we are to it. I'm like, oh, we've had more shooting deaths than that before, haven't we? And I'm like, oh god, I mean that's
like
in regards to thing. Yeah, it's not a good thing.
And then, but I think in regards to like concerts, I think this is one of the highest of all times of like active deaths. So I think that's where a lot of the rhetoric is going from. But yeah, like
and the way people die too.
Yeah. And then like the mounds of evidence of people dying around him and things like that. And like this has gone a little bit longer than we expected. Just to talk about Fortnite. Fortnite's removed it from the thing. They probably did it to save their own asses. Travis is in a lot of hot water right now. Hopefully him and his Kardashian girlfriend managed to survive it. Because nothing was more galling. Nothing was more galling. One of the headlines I saw was Kardashian, like something Jenner's sister, safe from Travis Astroworld concert. And I'm like, no one gives a shit about her.
Yeah.
I love you like who asked for this?
Just to tie up with a couple things. What's considered a mass casualty incident? It is recognized as 5 victims with critical injuries, considered mass casualty. When it comes to Travis Scott, like my experience as performing on a stage has been very limited in terms of the amount of people that I'm dancing in front of or whatever. But like,
I saw you on that stage. I saw you.
3 people.
But like
3 people, his parents, immediate family.
Hey, it was more than 3 people. Thank you very much, Jordan. But yeah, like it is. Like as Douglas says, like it is a thing of like you're on. So like you might look like you're looking at a particular space or place in the audience, but you might not actually be paying attention to that place. You might be looking there because you are something else, and that's just where your head and eyes are directed at. So it is one of the things where it's very possible that he may have been looking in the direction of the people that was having their lives taken from them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he was paying attention to what was going on. And like, yeah, he did stop a couple of times and was like, what he said something or whatever to the effect of like what's going on over there kind of thing. But like it's one of those things where this is a very complicated problem that there has to be some kind of way that these venues are adapting to make sure something like this doesn't happen again. And like, yes, part of the onus should be on Travis for like pointing the things out because he's on stage, but there's a bunch of people that are on stage behind him that are also looking at the crowd and looking at the events. And like, even the camera people who are like covering this, like
Oh.
there should be more fail safes than just the one performer.
Yeah, I'm of the mindset that Travis isn't ultimately like this is not 100% on him. The venue holders and all that type of stuff needs to be also held culpable for this event. That my only thing is that there should be no argument that he holds a part of the responsibility.
Oh, I agree with you there. I agree. I just don't know how much. Because it's his show.
That's true. Yeah.
You know.
Well,
and go ahead.
Oh no, you can go ahead.
I just.
Oh, okay.
No, you can go ahead. You can close out. I'm good.
Okay. All right. Well, this has been another episode of the Press X Start podcast. This has been our. I'm gonna call this the heavy hit, the heavy hitter, quick heavy hit, whatever. We hope you enjoyed this episode much. We enjoy making it. Don't forget to rate us on your favorite podcasting apps because every little bit counts. We hope that you have a pleasant weekend. We hope you have a pleasant day. We hope you wash your hands, you stay safe, and you continue to wear your mask because COVID's not stopping. It's not. We also would like for you to go to our YouTube page and like and subscribe there because we push there as well. With that being said, again, you take care, you stay safe, and peace out.
Bye, everyone.